Is Krow Fischer. Good morning, Krow. How are you today?
Good morning, John. I'm wet.
Right, and you? Aren't we all? My goodness, and it was the first morning this week that I hadn't been able to bike to work, and I'm disappointed about that because I need my exercise early in the morning. You've got a guest along with you as well, right?
I do. I'm here with Deanne Enright, who lives in the area and runs the Red Fox Healing Center. And Deanna has invited me to come to Collingwood here and host an evening event where we can talk about stuff going on in the world right now.
Right. You're referred to as a local deep trance channeler. Have I got that right?
Yes. Or
what is that?
I also call myself an interdimensional communication specialist.
Oh, okay.
So all of us, I think, everybody on the planet, we all are kind of designed the same way, but some people work at developing different areas of the brain than other people do. And I have the ability to put myself into a trance state. Most of us think of ourselves as if we are souls inhabiting bodies, and I think some people think of themselves as, biological beings walking around. And how I view us is that we are souls channeling through bodies, that our bodies are actually conduits, which we know they are. Our brain is a conduit of energy, and most of us are bringing our own soul light through and acting out on the earth, presenting ourselves on the earth plane and doing the stuff we do and learning and living and growing and loving. And people like me have also the ability to put your consciousness into a sleep state and allow other consciousness to stream through. So it's not like you hop out of your body and someone else hops in it. Whoopi Goldberg did a good one on that. But
that's true. Yes.
Yeah, but it's really more like being in a radio station. It's the ability to be able to move your channel, change your channel, and stream through a different broadcast. So you could think of it more like that. So I put myself into a sleep state, and I've been working with a group that I call Council of Elders, or they call themselves a collective consciousness, that seem to be tapped into universal knowledge. And somebody once put it like, my God, it's like having access to universal internet. So when
good analogy, yes. Right.
So when I put myself into this state, a personality comes through, and you can ask anything, and it's amazing the information that can just stream through. Like, for instance, every month we go into a recording studio and we pick a topic each month and design questions on that particular topic of things that we don't know, things we want to know. And it's just incredible information that comes through that's really practical and real, and things that people, if they work with, can change your life and how we operate, how we work together in the world. And I think we could use some tips, really, because we're kind of in a bit of a mess right now. And I really have a lot of faith in humanity, that we're innovative and creative beings, and given some good tools, we could really turn things around nicely. I think so.
Now, have you always had this ability, or
yes.
Is this something
I just didn't know what it was when I was a kid.
Right. And is this something that comes down through your family too?
My grandmother, yes. I've recently reconnected with an aunt who's been living in the States for a long time, and started to hear all the family stories of how this has been passed through, and it's I guess it's been there for a long time.
Now, Deanne, how did you connect with Krow?
Well, I do healing work, and it was through that community that Krow and I met up. And I've been hosting Krow at my house for some time now, doing these lectures in our living room, and we've decided to take it out into the community when we know we're in a time where there's a need.
There's a worldwide community of people, which is really, really fun. We've got mutual friends in Washington, D.C., kahunas from Hawaii that come up and teach here too, and it's a really interesting worldwide community, and we all seem to be learning the same, no matter what part of the planet we're living on. So it's very exciting, actually, to be part of such an amazing community of people.
Are you connecting mentally, or are you connecting through the internet?
All of the ways. No, in person.
Any way that's available, yes.
Really, in person's the best. There's so much more communication that happens when people are face to face. Definitely, there's a lot of people that connect through the internet, and I think that's an interesting way to do it, but there's nothing the same as being face to face with people and getting that human connection that I think is important. So we all try to meet up, and it's just friends. You know?
Take us back to when you were a kid, when you said you had it, but you didn't realize you had it. So when did it come to the forefront?
Well, I knew, I always was able to see spirit and know things, and they call it precognition. What I understand is that there really isn't any time, so you're actually in all time at once.
Right.
And so there was always that kind of sensation of being here but not here, and it's just a very weird feeling in retrospect. But of course, as a kid, you just think that's normal. And my grandmother lived with us for a while, and because she had been deeply involved with the spiritualist church and things like that, but not when I knew her, she was able to direct me and talk about things. And also, I grew up in Northern Ontario, and my friend's father was the artist Novelle Morceau, and he paints spirit. So that's how things looked to me as a kid. Things looked like light and shape around people. And I remember watching him painting and saying that's how it really looks. And and him just turning and saying, don't tell people you see things like that or they'll think you're drunk. Which,
right.
Yeah, he didn't talk a lot, but he knew, and so I had these two people anyway as a child that kind of gave me a sense of you're not nuts. It's different, but just don't talk about it. Yeah.
What is an example here? I've been married for 41 years, and as of late, it's funny that my wife would say to me, I was thinking that exact same thing just a moment ago.
What's happening? We're evolving as human beings. The whole human race is evolving, and normally we're focused in a part of the brain that thinks of ourselves as individual. And that shift is happening, I think, worldwide, collectively. And telepathy is amazing lately, isn't it? Everybody that I speak to is commenting on that. That I think we are moving into more of a collective knowing, that understanding that we really are all one, and yet maintaining our individuality. So I think before we were tribal and we thought collectively, we had like herd consciousness, then we evolved into individual consciousness, and now I think we're able to hold both. We can have the collective and the individual.
Is there a fear of the reverse, the negative of that, meaning
You know what, nature
a downside?
But nature
is there such a thing?
Nature doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Like when we really look at, it's an elegant universe, and when we look at how things evolve, it doesn't evolve into a negative. Yes, definitely for humans, it interferes with our plan for the planet. But you know what? Like we haven't been here very long.
No, I'm just thinking about that segment of society, and I won't make specific reference.
I understand.
But that segment of society that might like to use telepathy to the contrary of what we think is good, the direction we should
I would call
go.
that brainwashing.
Well, okay.
That's really different. That's when you're actually turning your own free will off and allowing yourself. And that happens all the time. Speech writers work with that, right? I mean, multi-level marketers work with that. It's a science that is definitely taught in our society and used. And I'm one of those people that you can't hypnotize. So good luck, buddy. But 30% of the population, it's really easy to do that too. And I think that should be public knowledge so people can be aware of that and aware of when that's happening to them, because we need to be operating from our own free will.
In your meetings in your home, the people that attend there, are they developing? Do you see them developing?
Absolutely, I see them healing and growing, and growing in consciousness, and they're able to address questions about themselves and about how things work that otherwise they may not have that information available to them, or have to work through it, and this process just speeds everything up for them. So it's amazing. It's amazing to have been able to bring that to the community and to the individuals.
Do you use various mediums in order to achieve your goals? Like tarot cards, things like that?
I do work with tarot cards because they're fun and they're really interesting.
Right.
And I get to stay awake while I'm doing that. When I'm doing the trance work, I'm in a sleep state, so I have no idea what's going on. So that's like that section of my personal life disappears. It's like having jet lag all the time when I'm channeling.
Right.
And when I'm if I'm working with tarot, I also work with Hawaiian healing work, Lomi Lomi, and I do past life regression work, and I teach workshops and courses. So that's my awake work. And then there's my asleep work, which is simply, I'm not there, so I don't get to participate in that part. So yeah.
When she's in that state, what's she like?
Well,
So
she's,
that might be a difficult question for you, too.
it's not really.
No?
I can tell you that her Crow's voice changes and her face takes on a slightly different look too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. I don't even think I'm talking to Krow then. It's red that's coming through. It's her body, but it's not her. And so it's really a very interesting experience.
Expound on what you mean by red.
Oh, okay. Well, red is the personality, and I should probably let Krow answer this question.
Okay.
So if we understand that we are spirit, and spirit is energy, and this energy, we are streaming from outside of time and space
Right.
to the earth where we're streaming through our bodies, and that's what puts us into time and space. So when I'm bringing through who we call red, for a personality to come through to the earth, you have to take on a personality from the earth. Otherwise, how can we possibly relate? So the gentleman that I work with is coming through with a personality from that he had once expressed on the earth, and he's coming through with that personality through me. Very loving presence, really funny, witty, and incredibly compassionate and wise. And I feel like I've been working with him for about 25 years now, and it's always been this sense of trying to empower people to take charge of their own life, to make their own decisions, and I love that about them. It's an amazing feeling I hear from people when they come in the room. I know another channel that channels with this group too. Apparently they channel with a lot of different people, but I met a woman in Hawaii who also channels this group, so I got to experience them coming through her, which was neat.
I'll make the assumption that most of the people that come to these events are negative or positive, but do you ever run into a negative person that you have a little difficulty
I don't like
connecting
thinking
with?
of people as negative or positive.
No.
I really don't. There's people that are scared, definitely, and for sure. I mean, sometimes reporters will come and and they'll be like, "Okay, I'm going to do a story on it. I want you to know I don't believe in this, and I might slam you." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And then they'll call back 3 weeks later and go, "I have to do that again because I can't make sense of what happened," and it just gets funny. So yeah, and definitely there's people that are angry and bitter and upset. Well, you're going to get complaints about anything, right?
Well, that's true.
But it's pretty rare because I'm not interested in debating somebody else's belief system. It's like, you're entitled to believe whatever you want, and so am I. And I think that's fine and that's fair. I think a lot of people are running into a problem now. It's called cognitive dissonance.
Yes, right.
Yeah, where I've believed this my whole life, and then reality is not supporting the belief anymore. Reality supports the beliefs that I have. And every time that new science is discovered, or they're figuring out new things of the universe, it's all supporting the beliefs I know. So I don't have that happening, whereas I see a large percent of the population is going through that. I'm not. Because it's like, I understand how that works.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's not new information for me. So I feel kind of like happy and excited about this. It's like science, reality, and biology, and all the brain sciences are in alignment with what I have been learning. So I'm not having that separation of reality that I think a lot of people are going through right now.
Okay.
And that's part of what we want to address,
Right.
on our Earth Changes thing, is calming people down about this,
Right.
that it's okay.
So you have an event coming up on Saturday night, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, tell us about that.
Okay, well, it's at the Bay School of Art at 80 Simcoe Street, and the doors open at 6:30. And
That's at the old restored Tremont building.
it's the Tremont.
Oh, it's
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a
Gorgeous,
beautiful
yes.
building.
You did a good job.
It's lovely there. And we're having the Mediquadong Drumming Group opening ceremony.
Okay.
And we hope that people will come out and experience this. It's going to be just amazing.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some of the prophecies and, address some of the fears about the Earth changes that are going on right now, and, just help the community get strong in whatever ways we can, and we're opening to questions from the audience. We'll put questions together at the beginning,
Okay.
addressing how can this community become a strong community as our societies change, because everyone can see we're changing really fast. Things are like really sped up now. So how do you hold a community together through these changes so that what emerges is a strong place that our kids and our grandkids can grow up in a healthy way? And that's what we need to do.
Starts at what time Saturday night?
It's from 7 to 9, but it does
Okay.
start at 6:30, meaning that we'd like people to arrive at 6:30 to take a
6:30.
seat. So the
At the
doors
Tremont.
are open then, but we actually begin at 7.
Okay. Okay. I have a feeling it might go past 9.
I have a feeling, I tell you, at my house, it always does.
It does, eh?
Yes.
All
So
right.
I think for tickets, though, I mean, it's rather late now, but people could go on the website, www.hereonearth.ca,
Okay.
or call me at my home is how we're finding it the easiest.
Okay.
And that number 705-429-3216.
So they won't be available at the door? You have to have them in advance?
Well, it would be nice just for seating to know. If
Gotcha.
somebody does just come,
Mhm.
well, then we think they're meant to just come. But it would be nice for us if we had the opportunity to know the numbers
Yeah,
first.
for sure. I can
Just make sure we have enough chairs for
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to
Thank you
join us
so
this
much.
morning, and hopefully we fill up the room for you.
I think so. Thank you.
Well, I think it'll be fun.
All right. Krow, Fischer, and Deanne Enright, our guests this morning on Trends.